Hey everyone, how's it going? So as promised, I am going to be showing you how I edit my Instagram photos. Woo! The way I edit my photos has changed so much. I started changing the filter that I was using for my outfit photos probably in the last month or so. Before this year, so kind of like close to end of last year, I did change it as well. I used to use Afterlight, but I think when they upgraded the app, I kind of got a little bit annoyed with it, and then I finally discovered how to use Viscos because at the time, even though it was such a popular app, I just could not understand it. It was too confusing and I didn't even know how to use it. So with the filters that came with the app, I thought that that was the way it is, and sometimes the app was just, I didn't know that you could adjust the filter. So as you're watching me show you how I edit my Instagram photos, I actually did that and watch other people how they edit their Instagram photos as well. And I did learn that you can actually look on Pinterest, and I think if you enter like Instagram filters, a whole bunch of options will come up on your screen and give you ideas on how you can do that. So I think I did pick one at one stage and I was doing that, and it's really easy. Like, it literally tells you which filter they use on the Viscos and how much they adjusted it to, and then they mentioned if they did exposure or saturation or temperature. It's literally like a dummy could understand. It's so easy. So I was doing one of those for a while, but I can't remember what it was. Oh, I've been following this YouTuber for a little while anyway. Her name's Tess Christine. I believe you would have heard me mention her in my blog or even in my YouTube videos, I'm not quite sure. She did a video on how she edited her Instagram pictures, so I gave it a watch, and I've always loved her aesthetic anyway. Her aesthetic is very warm, but I loved it. I don't know, I just really liked it. And she was using let me just check. I have the worst memory because I actually don't even use that filter anymore, but I was using it at one stage. A6, so she uses A6 for her outfit photos, but she uses HB2 for her food photos. So I was actually doing that, and I'm going to be straight up honest with you guys, I was using that filter the way she did it. Not to the T, like I used the filters that she used and how much she adjusted it, but in terms of the brightness and the clarity and the sharpness and all that, I did that based on how I felt it looked good with whatever picture I was editing. And it's never consistent either, it's always different. Yeah, it just depends on the lighting as well, because lighting does change how it looks. Yeah, so now I pretty much use HB2 for my photos now. I don't use A6 anymore. But anyway, that's pretty much the rundown of what I'm doing. So now I'm going to show you the process after I just tell you what apps I use. So I use Viscos first, Snapseed, Facetune, but again I'm going to talk you through what I do as much as I can and as clear as possible, so bear with me. So whenever I take photos, I pretty much always will go through them like later on or straight after, and favorite the ones that I like for later. So let's try and find one that I haven't edited yet. Okay, I was going to use one of these photos. So I'm going to go into Viscos, because the lighting on them is pretty good as it is, so I don't need to do much with that. I'll go into my favorites, find the photo that I want to do. So you can even do that as well if you want to view it. You just hold it down and that will come up. I don't think I've edited this one yet, so maybe I'll just do that one. Cool. And then I will click on the settings button, and I've already got A6 and HB2 saved at the front. I think I did just manage, and then I favorited the one that I wanted to, go to the top. So if you want to do that with yours. So because I've got HB2 there already, I'll just click on that, and then I'll press the HB2 button again, and if you see the line there where it says 12.0 or plus 12.0, I pretty much generally always go up to an 8, never more than an 8. And if I feel like it is still a little bit too much, then I'll bring it down. But this one is fine, but there have been times where I had to adjust it to a 7 or a 6. It just depends on the image, really. Like they always come out differently depending on the light. But I'm really happy with that, so I am going to go ahead and click that. I'm going to go back to the little, I don't even know what it's called, but Anyway, I'll click on the button that looks like a wheel, I guess. No, not that one, sorry. I'll click the next one next to it, and then the settings will come up. I don't know why I'm out of breath all of a sudden, but anyway, so the exposure, like, you know, I guess there are times that I will use the exposure, but I generally don't. And plus, this is pretty bright anyway, so I'm just gonna leave it. If I feel like it needs to have a little bit more contrast, then I'll do that. Or if I think it's too much, then I'll bring it down. But that one, honestly, I'm just happy with it. Actually, you know what? I might bring it down to like a 2. And that's it. Like, I literally try not to overdo it. And then I go across. Sometimes if the person who took the photo didn't make it straight, then I will go into the straighten part and, you know, try and adjust it to however I see fit. But, you know, that one looks fine anyway, so I'm going to keep going. If I want to crop it, then, you know, I'll crop it. I'll put it as a square as always. I think I might get rid of that black part on the wall, and then I'll try and center myself in the middle again. No, let's try that. Okay, so that's better. And then I'll go sharpen, and that's when I don't mind going as high as possible, but still I try and look at it so it doesn't distort the image. So maybe I'll just do a little bit because I feel like it's getting distorted already. And clarity, oops, that's not clarity. Clarity, I use literally like 1 or 2, because this is how it will look if you go all the way. So I don't want it to look that much like that, but I do want to accentuate some detail, so I'll do like 0.1. And saturation, I don't think it needs saturation, to be honest. I'm pretty happy with the way it is. I don't use highlights at all. Shadow, I might use a tiny bit, like 1, I reckon. And temperature, I do use temperature sometimes depending how the filter made the image look. If I feel like it's too orange, then, you know, I'll turn it down like into the minus part so it's a little less warm. But then if I feel like it's a little bit too cool, then I'll, you know, warm it up. But I think it's fine the way it is. And tint is just, I sometimes use that if I want it to look a little, I don't know, I don't really know what tint is, but sometimes I like what it does to the picture, so that sometimes I use it, but I only use that if I'm using the temperature, and I use a tint to kind of balance the temperature. I don't know. And actually, I just recently started using skin tone, and it's from a video that I watched a couple of weeks ago from someone else showing her viewers how she edits her photos. And I think it's really cool. I don't know why I never used it before, but basically if you feel like you're a little bit too pale, you can turn it down to make it a little bit more pinker, or if you're too pink, you can turn it down to make it a bit more yellower. But I think I'm pretty happy with the way it is right now anyway, so I'm not even going to change it. And then that's it. I'll save it. And there you go. So I'll save it again to my camera roll, actual size always. I like to be as good quality, as best quality as possible. I'll try to make sure that it's as good quality as possible, basically. So in terms of the white background, I kind of don't really use, I don't whiten my backgrounds as much as I used to, but for this video I will show you the 2 ways that I do it. So I actually think this is fine. It's not too yellow, but it's, you know, I just think it's fine, it's perfect. So I wouldn't bother whitening it. But like I said, for the sake of the video, I'll go into Snapseed, and I'll even show you what I do for if I want to brighten it, but it doesn't need brightness. It's pretty good as it is. It was a really good day when this photo was taken, and you know, it's just, yeah, it looks better as opposed to exposure. There is no exposure on that. But yeah, I just the thing is, I get all the settings, but I can't explain it, but I just know what it does, if that makes sense. And I just prefer brightness over exposure. So anyway, so if I wanted to highlight, if I wanted to make the background white but not me, then I'll go into the settings part. So just click on that little pen on the right hand side at the bottom, hit selective, and then I'll select a part, so just anywhere, and you have the option to change the brightness in that specific spot, or you can do contrast, saturation, which I am going to be using, or structure. So if in the event that this part here where the B is too dark and I only want that part to brighten up, then I'll do that, and it will literally just brighten it up just there. But I don't want to do that because I think it's fine. Another thing that I learned a couple of months ago is if you use 2 fingers and you just kind of do that, like you spread your fingers wide and the red part will come up, and that's basically where you're selecting what you want to change. So I don't want to brighten myself, I just want to brighten the background, so I'll just try and make sure it's like so. Let go, press down on the screen, scroll, oh hang on, it's gone. It does that, just click on it again. Press the screen, doesn't have to be right on the letter, and just up, saturation, and then if I want it whiter, I go that way. So anti-clockwise, I think that's right, and I can brighten it up, and then I'll show you the difference. So that's before and that's now. So there really is no difference because it doesn't need to be brightened. It's perfect the way it is. Another thing you could do if you don't want to use that is go to brush, and then you have a dodge and burn option, an exposure button, temperature and saturation. I'll show you what exposure does, and it kind of does it as well, but let's go over me. And that's how it'll look like if I had to use the exposure in the Viscose app, and I just don't like the look at all. But it's okay to use it for like the wall, I guess. You could probably use it. Anyway, so yeah, so saturation again, hit saturation, and I always bring it down to like 5 because I don't want it too harsh, and then I literally just go around. Well, if you want to desaturate it, you can bring it down and make it more warm, which doesn't really do much because it's a white background, and so going down makes it more, I think it makes it more dark. Oh yeah, so yeah, it makes it like black and white basically. So yeah, sorry, I hope this makes sense. I'm really bad at explaining things, but that's literally what I do. So I'm happy with that. But again, Facetune is just another tool that I use to whiten the background. So I'll get it open, and I use the whiten tool, and I just go around like so. So yeah, it's just it's basically what the whitening tool does is just makes it, if you want it to be more whiter, it's a really good tool to use if you're doing flat lay. So if I was doing a flat lay, I definitely want the background to be as white as possible if it's a white backdrop. But yeah, so that's that really. I'm pretty happy with that. I'll show you another one just because that one was really easy. There are times where there's a really hard image that takes a little while to, you know, edit. So I'm just going to go and try and find something that was hard to edit. This one, maybe I'll show you how I do my selfies because that's something different. So I already did some of these, so I just got to make sure I don't select the same one. I think I did that and that, so let's do this one. Let's have a look. Actually, I've already done one of those, and I'm going to do something different because then I have a photo to use. I even have a folder for all my edited pictures, so then they're all ready to go if I ever need a photo to upload. Okay, yeah, let's do that one. Alright, so we're going to do this one now. Excuse the selfie. So again, I'm going to go HB2. So that looks, usually HB2 makes the image look cooler, but this one looks very warm. So that's the original, and that's the filtered one. So this is that when it's on 8, which I'm actually happy with that. I'm going to go into this, and again, sharpen just a little bit, no, a little bit more. Clarity, like 1 or 2 to 1. Saturation, no. Shadows, maybe a tiny bit just because it's really dark around my eyes. So then in that case, I'm going to go back to contrast and bring it up a notch. And then to cool it down, I'm going to go to temperature and bring it down. So it just looks a little bit more, I don't know how to explain it, but that's if I was to bring it up and it's too orange. And I guess bringing it down just makes it look more natural, I guess. So it looks like my skin tone. So I'm done with that. And if I wanted to, I'll go to skin tone and make myself more pinker or even yellower. But I'm happy with the way it is, so I'm not going to do that. So that's done. Save. Save to camera roll, actual size, always. And then I'm going to go into Fisk or Snapseed and whiten the background because that one needs it. It's not white. It's kind of yellow a little bit. So as you can see on my right hand side, as the way you're looking at it, so where my face is leaning towards, that looks pretty good. But on the other side, where it's really shiny on my shoulder, because that's where the window was, it's a little bit, you know, it just doesn't look good. So I could use the brush tool, bring it down and just go over that. Sorry, I'm supposed to bring it down, not up. There you go. But then now the other side needs to be done too. But I actually prefer to use a selective one just because my fingers are a little bit stubby. Well, not really stubby, but you know. And again, I'm going to make sure that's not going on my scarf because I don't want that. I just want it on the background. And then I'm going to go anti-clockwise to make it whiter. And if you want to copy the way you've got it set already, if you click on that, go copy, click on the plus on the bottom, we're next to the eye, and then click on the spot you want to do it, edit as well. And if you, press it, paste, and then it should actually already do it for you. Yep. But I'm gonna make sure, so you make sure you also do that too because I didn't even realize. And there you go. So you can't really see a very big difference because when I take photos, I try and take it as good as possible so I don't have to edit a lot of it. It just saves so much time. So even when I'm using my Canon DSLR, I always do the settings in a way that when I upload them onto my laptop, I don't have to brighten it, I don't have to saturate it, like maybe just a tinge of a saturation or maybe a tinge of, you know, brightness, but generally speaking I try my best to make sure it's pretty much already good, so it saves me so much time to, you know, organize my photos and get it uploaded to my blog and stuff. So I think the only bad thing about the selfie is the sun on my shoulder, but aside from that I don't mind it. Like, it's not really the end of the world. If I really wanted to, I could probably go here and bring it down, but I don't really like that, to be honest, so I'm just going to delete that. No, delete. Yeah, so that's it. Save that, export, done. I'm going to go to Facetune now because it's a selfie as well. I like to accentuate some parts, and also because I kind of need a wax, so I'd like to try and hide that. Very self-conscious about that. Yes, I'm going to go in, and as you can see, look at all those little hairs. I'm going to go smooth and just like, you know, strokes, like just a stroke. I'm not like going like that, I'm just going like that, just as, you know. And then I'll go out, so it's not as bad now. So that's the way, the original, and that's after. Okay, now there's a little bit more here, so I go as close as possible, and again, just, you know, soft strokes, move back, and it just looks a little bit better. And I've got a mo. I'm getting really detailed here. I'm showing you all my insecurities right now. And I'm just going to, again, just slight strokes because you still want it to be as natural as possible. And there you go. The only thing about that is that it kind of softens my upper lip, which I don't necessarily want, but I'm just trying to hide my little hairs, that's all. And there you go. So now I'm going to get the details button, which is the triangle, and go in here and just kind of soft strokes there, and again in the corner of my other eye as well. And it just gives that little bit of a brightness to it. I also like to accentuate my 2 freckles that's here. I think it's on the side or this side? This side. You can't really see it here anyway because it's on this side, but I can see a bit of it. And I'm just going to do light strokes as well. And again, you can barely even see it. But so that's pretty much it. I'm happy with everything else. I don't do anything else on Facetune, but just try and accentuate some details and hide my hairs because they're like my most insecurities. And so I'm just going to save that. Save to camera roll. And yeah, that's it. Maybe I'll show you some food as well because I do upload a fair bit of food. I took some photos today when I went to breakfast with my brothers. The only thing is it wasn't very good lighting. I like natural light when I'm taking photos, especially when it's flat lays. So I had trouble trying to get a bird's eye view of the food without my shadow being in the way. As you can see now, I'm trying to find one that doesn't have, so there's a shadow there and I don't like that. I'm very pedantic when it comes to that. And that's my little sister. Oh, wrong one. So that one could work, but that was before, and I wanted the one with the milkshake. I'm gonna have to do this one, I think, because the ones with the milkshake, let's just do this one, whatever. Doesn't even have to upload it. So HB2, and I really like that it makes the table really dark, and this is A6. But even when I was using my outfit photos with A6, I was using HB2 for my food anyway, but now I literally use HB2 for all my images. And I'm just going to bring it down to an 8. I mean, if you get it to a 7.9, it doesn't really matter, or 8.1, it doesn't matter, but that's just kind of where I lean towards. Saturation is not needed. Contrast, maybe like, you know, a tiny bit as always. Sharpen. Clarity, like 2. Pretty happy with the way it is. Maybe I'll get rid of some shadows, but that means I'm going to go back and use dark, like increase the contrast again. But at least it's gotten rid of the shadows. And I'm going to, do I want to use a temperature? Make it, no, I'm happy with the temperature. That's it. So that one wasn't too bad actually. But I also like to go into Facetune again and accentuate a little bit more. So I'm going to use details. Maybe I will go over the chia seeds. I always say it wrong. So it's very faint, like you could barely even see that I'm changing things. That's pretty shiny as it is. Maybe do the steak, make it like it looks mouth-watering. Chips maybe. And that's it. That didn't take long at all. It's so easy. Maybe I should, yeah, so that's pretty good. Actually, I might even upload that now. Not too bad. It was like 10 o'clock and my brother Dakota orders a burger. He is not a breakfast brunch person. What else can I do for you guys? Let's do one of these coffees. Again, I had trouble trying to get an angle that didn't have the damn shadow. That was literally the best I could do. And it's not even a bird's eye view. Let's do this one. And then we'll be finished. Alright. Standard procedure. Literally done. Like I don't have to tell you anymore because I'm doing the exact same thing as all the other videos, just the settings would be just different levels. Maybe I'll go back to contrast, make it darker. See how it looks. So it's just, I do it by feel as well. Like if I feel like it needs to be warmer, then I'll do that. If it needs to be a little bit whatever, I'll do that. No, I just don't like that you can see the shape of the table, but I probably won't even upload this anyway unless I'm desperate. And that is basically all I need to do for that. That one wasn't too bad either. Oh, cool. So I'll show you one more, I guess, because the photos that Tali took of me over the weekend were beautiful, but they don't go with the filter that I use. Let's do, I think I did some of these already. Let's do this one because it's got a white background, and then yeah, so see how different it looks compared to my other selfie that I showed you at the start. It just depends on how the photo was taken. It's always different. So in this case, I won't even put it on an 8 because that's how it looks as an 8, and it's still a little bit too dark. So maybe like 7.5. I could bring this, yeah, so this is where I wouldn't mind using the exposure. But still, again, I don't want to use too much because I don't really like exposure. I'm not going to use contrast because it's way, like it's already pretty dark as it is. I'm going to go to shadows and just brighten it up a bit. So then in that case I might go back. Then in that case I will go use contrast with just like 2. And I don't really think I will need to use temperature, but I'm just going to sharpen it a little bit more actually. That was stingy. Temperature. So that's warmer and that's cooler. So maybe a tiny, like just 2 for the temperature, and see if the tint will help a little. Yeah, so the tint kind of balances out so it doesn't look too orange, I feel like. And my skin tone is pretty fine, so I'm not going to use that. Save again to save camera roll. And I'm going to go to Snapseed and brighten it up. Actually, I already showed you how I use the Snapseed app for the bright whitening, so I'm going to use Facetune. Whiten. So literally select white, and then I'm just going to go over the white as careful as possible to not get on my clothes, because I only want the background to be whiter. And if you want, do that too so you can see what spots you've missed. I like to go a little bit closer to avoid getting on my clothes. And the top part wasn't done properly. That's why I kind of go there a bit more. And then I'll go in and check that's not on my clothes. So it's a little bit up there. So I'm going to try and go as close as possible, select erase, and then try and undo it. So it's a little bit better now. I'm just going to make sure that's not, because there's so many times I've done this and I've gone to upload it and then I've noticed that it's gone on my clothes. So I like to be very fussy and check. And yeah, so that's before, after, before, after. So like, that's why I don't use white anymore on Facetune, because I feel like it kind of looks fake. I just don't like it. So you know what, I'm not even going to use that. I'm going to go out of that, go back into Snapseed and use the saturation tool on here instead. and I'm going to use the selective one just because lately it's just been my go-to. And whiten it like that. It's good too because when I'm trying to select the spot, oh my gosh, this is gonna be a really long video. Like I was doing what I was trying to show you something, and then in the end it just cut out. Basically I was just selecting spots that I feel like needs whiten, using that red thing again to make sure that it's only selecting the parts that I want adjusted, which is really good because it just saves me from having to, you know, color in, and cause it's really hard, like it gets really annoying sometimes. It just, that way it doesn't look as, you know, fake, and like I've copied my body on the background, and there you go. I'm happy with that. But with the whole detail thing as well, I'll go back into Facetune and show you that how I like to highlight, you know, hardware and, you know, logos or anything that needs just a bit of that shine. So see that hardware on my jacket there, I'm just going to like the zipper to just really accentuate the details. That's why I do it. I don't try and like do it overly like overboard, but so I'm not like going in there and scratching it so hard. Yeah. And even though my teeth is fine, but sometimes there are photos where it looks a little bit yellow, so I'll go in, that's really close and very awkward. But I literally just strokes, that's all I do, just a stroke, and like 1 or 2 strokes. Because again, I want it to look natural, but also, you know, it's embarrassing to put up a photo and your teeth is yellow. So, you know, whatever. But yeah, that's it. So that's how I upload my photos. So now the next step is I go into Unum, and this is what I use where I prepare my feed. So again, I'm very pedantic with what I upload and how I upload. So these are all of the photos I've got pretty much already there to kind of pinpoint, and you're pretty much going to get a sneak peek of what is coming up next, but I'm not going to tell you exactly. But basically that stuff is the next one, and I don't want to change it too much, but basically this is what I use to prepare. So I've got this photo up here already, but I didn't show you how I edited it, but it was pretty hard because I didn't want it to be too dark and, you know, whatever. And then there's another one there as well that I was just editing previously, but just a different pose. Yeah, so what you can do is you select the box, this little section will come up, you hit the plus button, then you can upload your picture or go there, and then if, let's just say I want to see how it looks with the one of me holding the cup and the one on the bottom. And then I'll just have a look and see if I like that or not. And obviously I don't like that, that's way too much. I'm very pedantic with how, like I literally could spend hours playing around, and sometimes I may not have a picture that works. And oh man, like there's been nights where because I sometimes would do this to prepare a picture for the next day, or I took new photos that day, so I've gone and edited them, and then I felt like I wanted to upload them here and to see how it would look. And sometimes I will be only for like an hour trying to figure it out because I may not have a picture that looks good, or, you know, just something always happens. But anyway, I pretty much have a few already ready to upload already anyway. But next is I will go to see my best time. So that's why I love this app as well, because it tells me when is the best time to upload. I cannot recommend this app enough, like seriously. So yeah, this is pretty much when I know is a good time, and I even put reminders on my phone. I'll even show you. So I would, I've got a lot of alarms here. So I've got 10 AM post pic, 11:45 post pic. So I actually put reminders on to remind me as well, because sometimes I forget, and if I miss it, I won't upload it unless there's another good time to upload. I'll wait till the next day. So today what time is it? It's not 9:41. It's not 9:41. It's 2:30 p.m. It's now too late, but I can't upload at 9 p.m. So I might actually do that. I'm gonna go into my alarm and do that. Actually, I'll do 8:55 so that way it's already ready, because sometimes I might get distracted. Whew, that was very long, wasn't it? I'm going to pause that. That was nearly an hour. Not even kidding. That was nearly an hour. That's pretty much how I upload my photo for Instagram. I hope that made sense. I get a lot of people asking me how I upload my photos, how I edit my photos, sorry, and I figured, you know, as promised, I will tell you how I do it. But, you know, like I said at the start of the video, I got my ideas from Tess Christine, so I can't take all the credit. But in saying that, mine isn't like hers to the T. I've already stopped recording the screen, so I can't even show you now. But basically, yes, I'm using the same filters as her, but honestly, I feel like every video that I've watched on how they edit their Instagram pics, they pretty much use the same filters that I'm using and that Tess Christine is using. So I think it's pretty generic, A6 and HB2. Yeah, because I got those filters from Tess, and I've watched like 5 different Instagram edit videos on YouTube, and they all use the exact same one. So yeah, now you know how I edit my photos. It's really all about the feeling as well. I go by the way it looks. I have a specific look in my mind that I can't really explain, but I wanted to still have that tinge of filter, but I also wanted to still look like there is no filter. I can't really explain it. Yeah, but anyway guys, I don't want to keep you any longer. This is already going to be a very long video. I can already imagine how long it's going to be and how hard it's going to edit, but I really do hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you want me to just talk to you more about my posing and stuff, because I actually get that a lot too. There's not really much to it really. It's really me just moving around and trying to be candid as possible, but happy to do a video if you guys want to know more about it and how you can get inspiration and stuff, because really life is all about inspiration. I'm sure I speak for everyone on Instagram. They get their inspo on Pinterest, Instagram as well. You can't deny it. So yeah, but if you want a video, let me know by giving this video a thumbs up. Let's see if I'm gonna be stingy and say 20. If I get 20 thumbs up on this video, then I'll do a video on posing basically for Instagram or even for your blog. I actually did get asked on how I take photos. I might do that via a blog maybe. I mean, I just don't think I'm that much of a pro to be talking about that. I do that by feel as well and by eye. But yeah, let's just start with, if you guys want me to talk you through posing and all that jazz, then 20 thumbs up on this video and I'll do that. And I'm pretty much a girl of my word. Can't even say that phrase, but I keep to my promise. This is a perfect example. I told you that if I got 16 thumbs up on my last video, I would do this video, and here it is. Let's just end this video right now. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and you know, yeah, bye.